So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Wild Blue Yonder, 2005. This is going to be another Werner Herzog flick. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 stars. I hated this flick, especially after I watched the special features with Brian Dourif. And I was glad that I watched the bonus features first because it gives the background about what this hidden meaning of this movie is about, namely global warming. Brad Dourif says that man is obligated to stop using fossil fuels, which is a radical notion, but it's not all too uncommon in Hollywood. Brad Dourif is Werner Herzog's neighbor. And the first part of this film is called A Requiem for the Death of a Planet. And just as the global warming alarmists have it all backwards, the planet is actually cooling rather than warming. The movie has it backwards also. And, Brad Dourif plays an alien from Alpha Centauri, and he says that his planet is frozen and they have to move to Earth, or they're scattered all over the universe, but he just happened to land on Earth. And he says aliens suck, and he's kicking dirt like Billy Martin fight with an umpire back in the 1980s. And I can go into details about why global warming is a hoax. I could probably go for hours, but the ice caps are expanding. The polar bear populations are expanding. The last 2 years have been some of the coolest years in recorded history, according to NASA. The sun is not emitting enough energy to create a global warming situation at the moment. In Victoria, Australia, there's severe snowstorms 1 month out of summer, and trees are major emitters of carbon dioxide at night. So I can go on and on, but I'm not going to bore you with political stuff. Just suffice to say, as I'm one of those unholy, deplorable type of global warming deniers, and that makes me a right-wing kook, then so be it, I guess. I don't know. I've been that way since the 1980s when this global warming nonsense first appeared in magazines and stuff. And my parents were completely shocked that I didn't accept the communist turned environmentalist, the green on the outside but pink on the inside kind of people like Mikhail Gorbachev, who went to the Amazon rainforest to save it after the Soviet Union fell, and they shuffled the communist rows on the deck. Boris Yeltsin became a powerful politician instead of Mikhail Gorbachev. So they just shuffled some Communist Party members around. Later on, Vladimir Putin became president, and he was a former KGB officer. So same kind of people in charge, just different names. And Al Gore's movie An Inconvenient Truth is a total fraud. So enough about global warming. You get the idea where this movie's headed. And Brad Dourif says that domestication of pigs is a major crime, a major sin against humanity because it led to the rise of cities. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. And this movie is definitely a cure for insomnia, because when I was watching it, I was so dang tired from dating these two elderly Chinese women on Tuesday night, seemingly endless dinner double date with a couple of church ladies in their 50s and 60s. And they made me eat the traditional Chinese food. I wanted the white boy items on the menu, namely egg rolls and Mongolian beef over rice, but of course they refused, and they ordered seafood, which I refused to eat, and a bunch of other traditional Chinese food, which I kind of nibbled at, but that took seemingly forever. It took up like 3 hours or something ridiculous. And I didn't really have time to go grocery shopping until last night. So anyways, I got this this movie under my belt. It's one of the last Werner Herzog movies in my queue. I've got another Harmony Korine movie that I have to watch, but it's just sitting there because it's a very long wait, and they haven't been sending me a lot of discs as a result of that. But basically, this movie is just people, Brad Dourif telling his story about how his planet died and how aliens suck, and Werner Herzog uses some old NASA stock footage. He thinks it's a great gift of humankind, this NASA archival footage, and he decries budget cuts in the bonus features because I guess there wasn't a librarian to help him out. He had to dig up some dusty old tapes and stuff. And he admits using different formats in this, which is kind of unusual. And he's got his favorite musician in there, Ernest, the Belgian cello player, who was also in Cave of Forgotten Dreams, Encounters at the End of the World. And he also uses some of the Antarctica ocean diving footage that I've seen 3 times now, twice in Encounters of the End of the World, and he recycles it earlier in an earlier film, 2 years earlier in this one. So Brad Dourif talks about how humankind wants to explore other galaxies and stuff. And there's some crackpot Asian scientists, a bunch of nerdy kind of NASA scientists. The Asian guy talks about using the gravity tunnels to slingshot spaceships to break the space-time continuum, presumably. Doesn't make sense, but anyways, Brad Dourif pretends, using the NASA footage of a bunch of astronauts in space floating around, that humans accomplish this. They go, which seems like an impossible task given the amount of time and the type of accelerated deterioration of the body that would occur during such space travel. Even Werner Herzog admits that it's impossible, but this is supposed to be a science fiction fantasy movie, and the scientist makes it seem like it's a plausible situation. So Brad Dourif pretends like humans get to Alpha Centauri, which has a star that's 4.2 light years away, apparently, but then he says it's 22 light years away. I don't know what he's talking about, and he says it's the nearest star, so we'll just leave it at that. And so apparently the entire planet is frozen, and there's some kind of underwater sea creatures that look awfully like the jellyfish in Antarctica. Some of the weird creatures at the bottom of Antarctica. And so apparently the astronauts are now deep sea divers underneath the ice cap, and the rest of the movie I just kind of pretty much ignored. Not that I miss much, but it's just about how Earth becomes like a national monument or some kind of they call it a national monument. Is what the scientists calls it from NASA. So this is where Earth people go back to go on vacation, is on planet Earth. The Earth people of the future, the Earth people that Brad Dourif describes in this so-called science fiction fantasy. So you see Werner Herzog trying to piece together this horrible science fiction movie. Usually when an art house director does a science fiction movie, their stuff is usually better than the other subgenres that they dabble in. But that's not the case with Werner Herzog, unfortunately. His regular movies are much better, or his well-known movies are much better, with the exception of Grizzly Man, which I absolutely hated. Another environmentalist kind of film, similar to this one. So you can tell I'm not an environmentalist, and better get ready for my graveyard shift now. I've got to get gas and stuff. So I'll let you go, bud. Right now I'm watching some kind of it's another Werner Herzog movie. The director, Zach, whatever his name is, the guy from the Loch Ness incidents at Loch Ness. That movie that I just saw, that was really good, but this one just looks like ESPN kind of rated R version of ESPN poker games. So looks pretty bad, but I've only seen the bonus features up to this point. It's got Woody Harrelson playing some kind of crazy flower child kind of poker player, but with the lamb chop kind of sideburns and stuff. So I'll be reviewing that one next. But I gotta get busy tomorrow with haircut and looking for a room to rent. I've got 31 days to find a place. Otherwise, I'll be living in my car or living in a cheap motel. Probably the latter, because I do have quite a lot of money saved. But my boss today wanted me to come into work, do some desk work, getting caught up on some stuff tomorrow. But I told her I got to find a place, and so I'll be looking at the Craigslist, see if there are any new ones. I'll be typing up emails and stuff. Got to take care of that tomorrow. So got my work cut out for me, and I better get ready for work quick, because don't have much time to get gas. Laters.